What's up, everybody? It's your favorite hood healer. It's your favorite hood high priestess. It's your favorite motivational dominatrix. It's your favorite auntie, captain, goddess, king, LadySpeech in the place to be. And I want to welcome you back to this here channel. You could be anywhere in the world, and you are somewhere in the world. And you're also sharing a little bit of time and space with me. And I appreciate that. So thank you. If you're feeling this, if you're feeling me, if you like what I'm doing, if you like what you see, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and make sure you hit that notifications bell so you can keep up with all of my postings and my shenanigans. Now, let's get into today's video. First and foremost, my good people, happy Black History Month to you. First and foremost, let's acknowledge that Black history is global. Black history is 365 days of the year. Black history is 24 hours a day and 7 days a week. Now that we've acknowledged that, happy Black History Month to you. And also happy Wednesday. I am recording this on February 3rd and it happens to be a Wednesday. So happy Wednesday to you. Happy February 3rd to you. As you can see from the title, we're gonna get into it. I've got a little mukbang for you. Mukbang, 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 mukbang. I've got a little mukbang. I'm gonna eat on camera for you. And we're also gonna get into the tea. I'm gonna spill a little bit of my tea. So let's get into it. But actually, before we get into it, let me mention what I am consuming today. So first and foremost, I am at the end of a pomegranate Italian soda. This is pomegranate raspberry Italian soda with a bit of cream, with actually a lot of cream in it, with a bit of cream in it from Coffee at the Point, which is a Black-owned restaurant or coffee house in the 5 Points. If you are ever in Denver, Colorado, and you want a little bit of coffee, a little bit of tea, or a space to use the Wi-Fi and do a little bit of work, head on down to Coffee at the Point. Fun fact about Coffee at the Point. So, when that structure got erected in the 5 Points, which is an historically Black neighborhood, it was first, excuse me, this coffee house was first purchased by a Black woman, a Black femme, a Black woman. And the name of this coffee shop was Blackberries. So this was Blackberries for a very long time. It was bought, developed by a Black woman, and then another Black family came and bought her out and ran that space for years, and then a Black man came along and developed that and continued to develop that space and bought that space, and it has been a Black-owned establishment in the historic 5 Points neighborhood in Colorado, which is an historic Black neighborhood. So I want to shout that out. If you are ever in Colorado, in Denver, make sure you head down there to get you a little bit of tea, a coffee, or you can use a Wi-Fi and do a little bit of work. So today, and I will leave their address in the comments so you know where to go. Let them know LadySpeech sent you. I am finishing up a raspberry pomegranate with a bit of cream Italian soda. Okay, so this is what I got today, easy ice. I am at the tail end of it because I absolutely love myself some carbonated drinks, and Italian sodas are mwah, chef's kiss to me. This was a very good Italian soda. As you can see, I am almost done with it. I also did light ice. I did light ice and I added a little bit of ice when I got home. So that is what I am consuming for my drink. I also have my water on the side. And as far as what I am eating a Qdoba burrito. This is a steak queso burrito, and I will also be consuming some Cholula hot sauce on the side. I happen to love Cholula hot sauce. I love all kinds of hot sauce, and Cholula is one of my favorites. So this is what we're gonna get down on today as I update you on my voodoo journey, as I update you on whether or not I'm going to Haiti, as I update you on something, a little bit of tea I spilled about a year ago to the day, give or take 30 days. But it was around about this time last year that I came to you and you know, share some information about my spiritual journey. So we're gonna update you about a specific aspect of my spiritual journey while we get down on this mukbang. Mukbang, 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 however you pronounce it. I'm about to eat on camera for you and tell you a story about myself. So let's get into it. Go ahead and put me in the corner, tuck me in, grab your snacks, grab your drinks, and let's get into it. You heard me. And just like that, I'm back. I've got my drink, my hot sauce, and my water. Don't worry about that little Italian soda I introduced you to in the clip before. It's gone now. It's gone now. It's resting peacefully in my belly. From here on out, I'm just hydrating with a little bit of H2O. Now, let's get into it. Got this wonderful steak queso burrito from Qdoba. This video ain't sponsored. Let me take a bite. First off, you can have a bite. And now it's time for me to have a bite. All right, y'all. Now, if you've been following me, you know. But just in case you didn't see my last video, let me give you a little bit of update about how important, number one, this mukbang is for me. I watch mukbangs. I have been a participant in YouTube for years. I have learned a lot of things from YouTube. I watch my friends on YouTube. I watch people I don't know on YouTube. YouTube has been integral to my digital life. And I've been into mukbangs for the past like 4 years, 5 years. And even though I enjoy them on a lot of different levels, and I've been wanting to do a mukbang on this channel for a long time, I've been so nervous to eat in front of y'all. So I'm glad that I am finally doing it. This is something that I said I wanted to do. And you know what I'm saying? I hope this is a good experience for me and for you. I do realize that there are gonna be some people who aren't feeling this. And that's okay. Go ahead and watch my other videos. This isn't gonna be like 100% of my content. Right now I'm putting a little hot sauce on my burrito. So this isn't gonna be 100% of my content. This isn't going to be like 50% of my content, but I'm intrigued with mukbangs, and I know some of you are too. So I'm going to tell you a little story every once in a while, leave me a little something, and we are gonna have us a little good time, Feel free to get you a snack. Feel free to get you a little something, and eat with me while we do this. Let me take me another bite, and we're gonna begin to get into this story. So I want to say praise to all you mukbangers out there, because this is kind of awkward. I'm not even gonna lie, this is kind of awkward. But I'm gonna proceed and push on through, because I feel like challenging yourself is always necessary. So this is a challenge for me, so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna tell you a story, eat some food, and make it do what it do. Okay. Before I get into the story, let's talk about this burrito. And I wash my hands, okay? I'm definitely licking my hands and my fingertips because I don't like to be messy, and also I don't like to waste food. Hello, goodbye, I'm a fat girl. So that's gonna happen, but also note that I washed my hands thoroughly and twice before I got into this mukbang. This is a queso burrito from Qdoba. We have steak, we have the brown rice, we have no beans whatsoever, we have guacamole, we have cheese and sour cream, and then we also have the fajita veggies as well, and the Diablo queso because I like it a bit spicy. I mean, it's good. It's not ever like the most amazing burrito I've ever had. The most amazing burrito I've ever had was made by my roommate, who was a chef and worked at a store that shall not be named because they're not giving me a membership or a sponsorship. However, he took those ingredients there. He would ask me what I wanted, and he made me the most amazing quesorito burrito. So he made basically a thin quesadilla with just cheese, and then that is what he made the burrito out of, and it was steak and veggies and everything delightful. That's one of the most beautiful burritos I've ever had. That is one of the most beautiful consistently. Oh, I love being friends and lovers with chefs. They're amazing. Y'all are amazing. Shout out to you. All right, let's take a couple more bites and let's get into the story. This is so wild to me. I've been a performer for over 20 years. From poetry to performance art to burlesque. I've taken my clothes off, with pasties of course, on stage. I have written some of the most vulnerable poems and then performed them on stage. I have hosted shows with thousands of people in the audience. And eating in front of you guys is a different kind of nervousness. It's a different kind of nervousness. It's a different kind of like, whoa, vulnerability. It super is. And also, let's break that down real quick. For me, I'm super aware that I'm a Black creator. I'm aware that I'm a pansexual queer creator. I'm also aware that I am a fat creator. So I'm super aware of the hate that is going to come at me from all of those different standpoints and from other, perspectives that I'm not even considering right now. So, as a performer, as a public figure, it already is a lot to put yourself out there, but to put yourself out there in new ways. Don't ever think that this doesn't scare us. Don't ever think that the boldest of your favorite creators, the most innovative, the most out there of your favorite creators, don't ever think we don't struggle with a bit of nervousness or with a bit of like hesitation or trepidation or caution. Because Lord have mercy, my nerves eating with you in front of you is wild, but we're gonna get through it. I'm gonna leave all this footage in. I'm not gonna edit it out at all because you deserve to see the full Monty. However, now let's get into this. Let's get into it. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of this video. This is this is what has been eaten so far from the video, not the video, but from the burrito. And now I'm going to take a pause real quick so that I can tell you a little bit of a story. And then I'll probably start eating again during this story, but I kind of want to get through big chunks and then eat. I don't know, we're gonna do what we're gonna do. This is the first time doing a mukbang. Let's just get through it. What's up, y'all? So I took a pause to tell you a story and then to start eating after I was telling you that story, but I ended up taking a pause and then I ate more, and now I'm about to take a pause from eating so I can tell you the story, which was why I took the pause in the first place. But anyway, this is what's left from the burrito. Significantly less since that last clip. It doesn't matter. It's a mukbang. I actually did eat it. I'm fat. I don't waste food. Hello. Especially when I like it. But now, let me take a pause from that because I got caught up in the burrito, baby. Caught up in the burrito. Now, I'm not anymore. And now, let's get into this story. Excuse me. Excuse me. Little burp. Little burp. Little burp. So, this this video is an update to a video I did around about a year ago when I spoke to you guys about my journey with voodoo, okay? So this is what this video is going to center around, as you probably can see from the title. So let's get into it. So about a year ago, I updated you guys about my journey and my spirituality. I'm not gonna update you guys about every little thing that happens in my spiritual journey, but significant things I might share with you because that's significant. And it's all about whether or not spirit tells me that I'm allowed to share that part of my journey. So always check with your spirits, always check with your guides before you do anything, before you display anything, before you put anything out there. They'll let you know whether or not they want you to do that. So they did let me know that I probably should update people and share this part of my journey, and that it was okay with them. So about a year ago, I gave you guys a video where I updated you about a lot of things that were going on in my life. But one of the things that I was looking forward to was going to Haiti to initiate into Haitian Vodou. And that happened after, it's probably been about it's been 2 years. It'll be 2 years this summer. So about a year and a half ago, I got a reading in the summer by a wonderful, beautiful person, a beautiful, beautiful person. And it was a life-changing, transformative experience for me. So in the beginning, and what happened was I ended up getting a reading by a practitioner of Haitian Vodou, a mambo. And this reading came to me at a suggestion by a really beautiful spiritual sister that I have become really close with over this last year and a half through this process, which I'm extremely grateful for. But at the time, she was someone that I just admired, and we were connected online and socially, and I just really had an affinity and a connection to her via our spiritual path and purpose. So we ended up getting in contact with one another, not just via social media, but making some solid contact. And through her urging and through my own spirit's urging, I ended up getting a reading from who was at the time her mambo, one of her spiritual teachers. And the reading that I got was very transformative. It was amazing and super affirmative, and it confirmed many, many things that I had been told years ago. So the reading that I got, I will stand behind that it was amazing, it was true, it was exactly what I needed, and it was full of magic, and the person who gave it to me was full of magic and powerful and amazing. I'll stand by that. I will definitely stand by that. So outside of that reading, there was this urging, there was this you know, encouragement to audition into, not audition, but to initiate, excuse me, to initiate into Haitian Vodou. Now let's take a little bit of focus on this part of the journey and go to the beginning of my spiritual journey. So I have been initiated into the Ifa faith and religion via a certain temple and a certain priestess years ago. In the beginning of that journey, I remember when I began to research African traditional religions, and especially the religions that my spirits and my ancestors were calling me to. It became very clear that my path was what I thought at the time it was either Ifa, or voodoo. Now, as I prayed and I was walking in and becoming, you know, when I was, you know, becoming myself, and I was a baby witch, and I was listening to this guidance, I was very connected to both. I was very connected to the Orisha and Ifa, and I was also very, very connected to voodoo, both of those. And I knew that both of those existed inside of me. I ended up, due to circumstance and resources, and you know, what I needed to, it was definitely part of my path. I ended up initiating into Ifa first. And for the most part, it was a positive experience. I'm very grateful for that initiation. I'm very grateful for how that enhanced my magic. I'm very grateful for the way that it stewarded me towards and on my spiritual path. I'm very grateful for my Orisha, for the Orisha that are my parents. I'm very grateful for that journey and for that path. And it is also a path that is my birthright. You know, years later, I got the opportunity to take a DNA test, and it was confirmed that at least 41% of my energy and DNA and ancestry comes from Nigeria. So I felt really good, and I felt really affirmed in taking that space and that path. But I also always felt like something was missing. And even though I took the path and walked the path into Ifa, I've always had an affinity and a connection to voodoo. And it felt like it was mine. When I encountered Ifa, when I encountered that magic, when I encountered that birthright, it felt exactly like that, like I was reclaiming a birthright. This was before I understood where my ancestry came from. Now, from a political perspective, an anthropological perspective, from a studying of the African diaspora and the Ma'afa and the slave trade, I was clear about where we were stolen and taken from. But I didn't know my exact origins or what my ethnic makeup was. So, but even without knowing those technical things, on a spiritual level, I was so connected to my ancestors and was deepening my relationship with them. I understood and I was drawn towards Ifa. I understood that that was something that belonged to me. I felt the same way about voodoo. Excuse me. Excuse me. I felt that voodoo too was a part of my birthright. I felt like voodoo too was a part of my psyche. It was a part of my blood. It was a part of my DNA. I felt like it was something that I needed to absolutely understand, embrace, and integrate into my life. And so I focused a lot of my study in the beginning of my journey in Ifa and in the Yoruba space. But I was always drawn to voodoo. And later on in life, I specifically began to be drawn to Cecile Fatima. And that would come into play much later, much later. So I say this to say that voodoo, Ifa, these things have always been integral to me. The themes of voodoo and Ifa, the Orisha, the Loa, have shown up in my life always. The more that I learn about them, the more that I connect with them, the more that I can use hindsight to look at how these figures have been absolutely present in my life. And they've been absolutely present because this is a part of my bloodline lineage. This is where I come from. This is the people that I come from. This is the way that some of my ancestors worshipped, and I happen to be connected to those things. So when I received my divination, when I received my reading from this Mambo, this Haitian Vodou Mambo priestess, it affirmed a lot. It was positive. It was a good experience. It was a good experience. I'm gonna take a pause real quick and say this. When you are walking your path, when you are dedicated to your path, when you are dedicated to your spiritual path and purpose, when that is the focus of your life, not people, not gurus, not guides, but when you are focused on your spiritual path and purpose, even when you make a mistake in teachers, or even when you make a mistake in the pathway that you are walking, the universe will end up using those experiences for your highest good. I say that to say this. I am loyal to the path. I am loyal. My allegiance belongs to my spirit guides, my God, my goddess, my spiritual team, my purpose, and my path. That is where my ultimate loyalty lies. And I am loyal to my teachers, but I am not loyal to my teachers above my God. I'm not loyal to my teachers above my spiritual team. I'm not loyal to my teachers above my path and purpose. For me, what that has translated into is, because I've been dedicated to my path and purpose above being dedicated to the teachers, even when a teacher is not the most perfect for me, or is looking to damage me, or is looking to hurt me or harm me, because I am dedicated to the path and the purpose, ultimately I am protected and put on the right path and kept on the right path in the long run. With that being said, after that divination, it came to light that I needed to begin to practice voodoo. And that resonated. It resonated. And it was something that I knew it was right. I have a very special connection to Haitian Vodou via Cecile Fatima If you know, you know. If you don't, you can do your research or not. But I've had many special and integral experiences with her spirit. And I have a very personal connection to Cecile Fatima. That ancestor means a lot to me and has walked with me personally in some very integral aspects in highly magic times in my life. So the initial call to initiate into Haitian Vodou felt right. It felt like it was what I needed to do. It felt like that was the path that I needed to take. And that ended up not being the case. This burrito is good. So, the purpose of the reading was to start me on my path to Vodou. The purpose of interacting with that teacher was to get me to heal some wounds I had when it came to the abuse and the neglect that I have suffered at the hands of my former spiritual teacher. I was never supposed to initiate into Haitian Vodou. That interaction was to confirm a lot of things for me and to affirm a lot of spiritual experiences and messages that I had already received from my ancestors, from the Loa, and from the spirit guides. I was not to initiate, though, into Haitian Vodou. No. I am to initiate into Vodou. Let's talk about it. Sometimes you encounter certain teachers, certain gurus, certain guides, certain spiritually minded people, certain shamans, certain folks that are going to help you get from one place to another. Sometimes you're going to encounter people, certain guides, certain spiritualists, certain priestess, priest, shaman, certain peers, certain spiritual leaders who are going to stay with you and guide you forever, okay? My encounter with that particular Haitian priestess, Haitian American priestess, was to affirm my connection to Vodou. It was to affirm that my birthright is Vodou. It was to affirm my connection with Cecile Fatima herself and her spirit. It was to affirm the connection and the experience that we had. Now, I was not to initiate into Haitian Vodou. What the past showed me was that I was to initiate into Vodou in my way with my people. I am not Haitian. I'm not. I'm Black American. And my roots are 41% Nigerian. Excuse me. Ooh, a little spice from the burrito and my hot sauce. And then I have about 17% Benin and Togo ancestry inside of me, as well as a good amount of West African and Congolese people, all kinds of things. And I am African American, which is a beautiful thing. Being Haitian is a beautiful thing. Being African is a beautiful thing. And being Black American is a beautiful thing. There is a birthright of Vodou that is all about not only my African birthright of Vodou, but also my very American, my very Black American birthright of Vodou. With that being said, I have been a practitioner of hoodoo and conjure for the past 20 years. So this is something that I'm actually well versed in, my version of it. This is something that is my you know, maternal and patriarchal practice. This is something that is also very much my birthright. This is something that is also very much integral to my spirituality and my spiritual practice. So, to answer the question, no, I am not going to Haiti to initiate into Haitian Vodou. Yes, I am a follower and a practitioner of Vodou, Vodou Sant, as some people like to call it, or as it is called. Not like some people like to call it, it is called. I'm a practitioner and follower of Vodou and Hoodoo, as well as a Colorado conjure queen. Will I be initiating into Vodou? Yes. I'm already a high priestess in my own right. I've dedicated over 20 years of my life to this. I've been practicing since I was 18 years old, straight up. And I've been practicing since I have been born into this. Never forget that hoodoo and conjure is Black in origin, and Black culture is very much ripe with hoodoo and conjure practice, whether you know it or not. So those things are my birthright, and I have been practicing those, and I'm strong in that. And I also know that it is my birthright to be an official priestess when it comes to voodoo. I am also, and the spirits have told me to pursue my connection to Ifa, to continue, because I am multidimensional, and these two birthrights are strong within me, and I'm connected to all of the magic that is within my ancestry and within my blood. So my official things, what do I practice? Who am I? What is my magic? I am a voodoo saint. I practice hoodoo and conjure. I am training, and I will be training to be a high priestess and a mambo in the voodoo tradition. The house that I was excited to be a part of and thought I was going to initiate into is not the house for me. It's not the house for me. But I do know that the house is out there. The Lawa they have revealed to me that my teacher in my house in that space is out there. For now, I'm going to continue to study under the teachers that have come to me. I'm going to continue to take my direction directly from the Lawa. And I'm going to continue to practice and honor the tradition of hoodoo and conjure. I'll say this was a affirming and beautiful experience. Even though I'm not going to initiate into that household, I consider that whole experience very blessed. Number one, it forced me to heal my wounds around my old spiritual teachers, from the Jehovah Witness perspective, and from the Ifa perspective, and from the general pagan perspective. There's been many teachers who have neglected me, abused me, perpetuated abuse within my household that weren't good for me. So this experience with this latest teacher forced me into a healing and a confronting on a deep level that I needed to. And this healing has made me a better leader. It's made me a better student. It's made me a better person. So I appreciate this experience. This experience affirmed and confirmed my connection to voodoo and to my Lawa, who have always been present. And also, this experience allowed me to really embrace the fact that I am an integrated being, and I am someone who honors every aspect of themselves. I honor every aspect of themselves, and this forced me into a level of embracing all of my spiritual perspectives and integrating them in a way that I had never had. So even though I didn't carry this particular mission forward in the way that it was given to me, I actually carried this mission forward in a way that was the most beneficial to me, my path and my purpose. That divination that I received allowed me to, there was other personal things that were shared in that divination, and because of that, and they were on point. So because of that, I was able to step up my faith and my practice in really beautiful and integral ways that has helped me to just draw closer to my entire spiritual team, but specifically to my Orisha and to my Lawa. All right, so that, I guess, is that's the meat and potatoes of that update. I spelled it out for you, you know. This is what I do, this is who I am. I am definitely in a path and a journey right now where the center of my spiritual journey is Ifa and Voodoo. I'm very particular about my teachers and my gurus and my guides. I know exactly what I need from a teacher, a guru, a guide. I know who I am as a student. I do know my deficiencies, and I know what I need. So I'm not gonna skimp on that. Also, as someone who's been practicing for years, as someone who's walked the path of faith for years, I'm very confident that every teacher that I need, I have right now. And any additional teachers, gurus, guides, mambos, ogan, you know, iyas, babalaos that I need will come to me as they need to come to me, and we will be who we need to be when we study together. Until then, I have so much faith, and even after that, I have so much faith in my Lawa, my Odisha, my spirit guides, my guardian angels, my ancestors, my spirit animal allies, my God and my goddess, every single person, aspect, spirit, light being that is a part of my spiritual team. I have full faith that they are working for my highest good, and they've never failed me. In anything, I have failed myself by not listening or listening to things that didn't love me as much as my spiritual team, but my spiritual team has never failed me. So I'm going to continue to move on faith and walk with them. I don't consider the fact that I didn't end up initiating with this particular mambo and spiritual teacher and guru or guide a bad thing. Like I said, this experience allowed me to, it pointed out some things that I need to work on, and I leaned into those lessons and I worked on the things that Spirit told me to work on, and because of that, I came out a better person. And lastly, I was able to really actually draw close to the initial woman who referred me to her. I've always had an affinity and a connection to this person. And because of this experience, this actually bonded us in a very beautiful way. Not in a traumatic way, but it just bonded us in a really beautiful way. And also, I've walked away with her as a sister friend, as a coven member. And I also walked away with a couple other people that I got introduced to through this experience. And so my personal coven, my personal magic circle has been enhanced because of this experience. I have actually drawn to me people who I'm going to practice with, I know, for the rest of my life. I have drawn to me more of my tribe members, my tribe members. You know, people who I know I've been with on this planet with in other lifetimes, and we're here to practice magic and heal ourselves and others with each other again. So I don't count this experience as bad. It was a good experience. It was an interesting experience. I will say this, it wasn't all great. It wasn't all great. I definitely did invest a pretty penny into this mambo and into getting initiated that I haven't seen, and I'm not gonna see back, you know, and I actually don't feel bad about it. I don't. The money that I spent on this experience, I actually have received a lot energetically and spiritually. And also the way that I pay for things, the way that I invest into my future, and the way that I don't just invest my money. So even though technically I wasted, quote unquote, from a technical perspective, a good amount of money, what I received back in payment when it comes to lessons, blessings, and good solid relationships I've received, it's a balance. It's a balance. And in the end, money comes and money goes, and I know that that money is gonna come back to me. So when I post these videos talking about, you know, tips and tricks to, you know, choosing a better spiritual leader and a guru and guide, please know that this is not something that I'm just spitting at you. It's coming from my heart, it's coming from my experience, and not just from my past experience, it comes from my current experience. As seasoned as I am, I've been in the game for a very long time. I know a lot. I respect my intelligence. I respect my study. I respect where I come from. I'm also the perpetual and forever student, so there is so much. There's always so much you have to learn. There's always more things to study, more ways to expand your mind. I respect that space. I respect that space. And even with that being said, I will always need a guru and a guide. I will always need a teacher. I will always need to be taught. I will never ever get to a space as long as I live where I know everything. No one ever gets to that space. And that's a beautiful thing in actuality. Which means there's always something to grow towards. There's always something to fly towards. There's always something to heal towards. There's always something to work towards. So yeah, that's that. Let's check in with this burrito. Here we are. Big bites on them. So be gentle in the comments. There's gonna be a lot of you who are not into this because you're not into watching people eat, and that's fine. There's gonna be a lot of you who are into this. And that's fine too. You love watching people eat. And that's great. I tried to pace it and do some time when I was eating and some time when I wasn't. And so, you know, you can fast forward through those moments if you want. But also, this is my channel. I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna do what I want. I'm gonna do what I want. And I've really been wanting to experiment with mukbangs. And also, I needed to work through this fear. Once I decided to do mukbangs, I was like, oh, that's gonna be easy. I'm gonna make that content really easy. And then every time that I tried to film one, I was like, I'm so embarrassed. Why am I so embarrassed? And it really is because of people's fat phobia. You know, y'all feel a certain way when a fat bitch eats on camera. Y'all feel a certain way. When a fat girl and a fat person is eating on camera, and I just understand that I not only am I inviting in lots of cool things, but I'm also inviting in, you know, some craziness because of, you know, when you choose to be a fat, openly loving yourself person on screen and then eat. So that had a lot to do with it, but also just my own things. So thank you for joining me on this journey. Shout out to this Qdoba burrito, what's left of it. Shout out to this queso Qdoba burrito. You've been wonderful. Shout out to that Coffee at the Point Italian soda, pomegranate raspberry with a bit of, what was that, cream in it. Easy ice. I usually actually have more ice than that, but I needed to go. I went and got the drink, then I went and got my burrito, so I was like, don't want it watered down. So that's why it was so creamy and milky and things of that nature. Otherwise, I usually get regular ice. So shout out to those things. Shout out to you for participating and listening to this video, for supporting me. If this is your first time, go ahead and leave a caterpillar. And if you're an OG, go ahead and leave a butterfly. If you enjoyed this video, let me know. If you like this kind of content, let me know. If you don't, well, just, you're gonna let me know by not watching this video. So, if you like it, if you love it, let me know. If you don't, keep moving on, baby. Keep scrolling on, because I probably got something else that you like. And if I don't, there is somebody else on YouTube who has something else that you like. So, just in case no one has told you today, you are amazing. You are beautiful and divine. You are a hot mess and a work of art in progress, a masterpiece in progress. Not only are you simultaneously a genius, you are also someone who requires and needs deep healing. And that's a great thing. That's called being human. That's called being human. That's called having a human experience. The crazy things that you do, the wild things that you do, the not so good things that you do, don't cancel out how beautiful and amazing and wonderful you are. Those genius aspects, those artistic aspects, those wonderful, beautiful aspects of yours deserve to be honored. So, just in case no one has told you today, I love you and thank you. Happy Black History Month. It was and it is a great time. This was great doing this mukbang with you today. My first mukbang in the books. proud of myself. I worked through a fear. I worked through an insecurity, live and in charge. Well, not live, but you know, in front of you. And I'm happy as hell about that. I will see you guys soon. Mwah! Peace.